guest this morning, Olayinka Ola-daniels. First time seeing him this year is joining me in my color this morning. I think we did the meeting in the middle of the night that we're going to be white today. There's just something about Nigeria. We want to bring peace and purity to our environment, and let's just bring some measure of sanity as well with our colors. But it's even much more complete. He's wearing the green cap and the white. So good morning. Good to have you. Happy New Year. Officially, not on phone now. Happy New Year. Good to have you again. 2022. I know you're as excited as we are. There's this thing in the air. People are not talking so much about COVID. You've not heard?
Yeah, well, they're still talking about it.
No, I'm just saying, last year, before you say 1, 2, 3, somebody had COVID.
Okay.
All we've been hearing this year is somebody died. I'm just glad that the people who have died so far, at least the ones I know, are advanced in age.
Very well.
So I think that's the part that should give us some respite. But let's talk about the stories in the papers this morning. Let's begin. Our tributes pouring for the man who contested against Moshood Abiola Kashimawo, the late Moshood Abiola Kashimawo, in the 1993 general elections. He was the flag bearer of the national NRC. What's
NRC,
the national? Is it Revolution or Renaissance Party? SDP, NRC. He was the flag bearer of the NRC in that election. And I will get it. We'll definitely get it. And he goes home. They call it going home. National Republican Convention. Okay. Yes. He was the flag bearer. He died at the age of 74. And let's talk about Tofa, first of all. President Muhammadu Buhari called him a symbol of Islamic culture and civilization. And I looked at it and said, that doesn't sound so national. What do you think?
Well, maybe that's what President Buhari
knew about
him. So he can't say what he doesn't know.
And that's a really deep message.
Yeah, well, that's the part about him and what he does. Because the truth is, in those days, some of us believe that Tofa had no business, in the politics then, and he had because we know how Tofa came to existence. Then Tofa was brought in. They had to look for someone to contest against the MKO then, and even at that time, it was glaring that his people were not in support. I remember he went to campaign somewhere around his people, and he was stoned. He was stoned out. He could not even stay there. So that's to tell you politically, because what I hear, is wonderful when people die. You hear all sorts. Well, maybe things we do not know. People say, yes, it's a democratic whatever. You build something. And I'm like, hello. At least we're younger, but we saw things ourselves. So maybe for generation that were not around then, I don't know, but we were around. We saw it. So, but for the part in which Mr. President had, spoke about him, fine. I don't know much about that. Well, maybe he is. He's been there ever since. Being quiet and doing the little he could do in his own, zone. Yeah, so far maybe probably he's not from this side, or I don't hear much about him. But on the northern part, maybe he does that. And
interestingly, he was 50 years old when he contested for that election. And I looked at the age of all our contestants so far. It was 50. And he was vying for the position of president.
Yes.
That's almost young, don't you think?
Of course, yeah.
That's almost young.
Well, how old was Abiola also when he was vying for the position as president? And we have said that over time that most of it, in those days, all those people were young. They were younger people. Some of them were in their 30s, in their 40s, in their 50s. And today, we ask, what has happened to us? Where are the
He was
younger
even
ones?
younger. He was 45.
Oh.
So he was a 45-year-old man and was vying for the position of a president of a country.
So
Where did we now get the idea that 45 cannot, because there is this general acceptance in the air, maybe among politicians, that people who are not above the age of 55, 60 should not even go near the idea of presidency. It's just, it feels like that.
Okay, it feels like that because there's nothing that says...
No, the law doesn't say that. But I just, when I say it feels like that, I'm just wondering, when everybody puts forward their candidates,
I don't know, I think...
why are they
beyond
always
that.
above the age of 55?
He's not, you see, he's beyond that. What has happened over time? We have people that also were younger, in the days of Bola Tinubu and the likes of them, and I mean the MKOs, in those days, and they were younger, the Buharis and the Gowons and all that. At that time, there were people on ground.
They were young.
They were young, because don't forget that we're just coming up. Not too long we had independence. Thereabouts, there was an interruption from the military, and somehow, I mean, God helped us, and we started. I mean, the civil rule. Sorry, I don't call it a democratic rule. Civil rule, and so far, the same set of people
Are still there.
that we've been. That's the problem. We, as a people, particularly we, the younger ones, maybe I would say we are not patriotic enough, or we feel that, please, we're not interested. You know why? There were people.
So you're saying that we didn't join when they joined?
That's not my point. Those people, as at the time they were head, or they were there, whatever they were older people.
True.
They were older people. Also, they were elder statesmen.
Okay.
But they were not the one running shows.
Yes.
So the category of people that were running shows were the younger ones at that time. So what happened to that shift? If they could do that, so what happened to us?
Is it
Because these
positioning?
people, like Obasanjo, former President Obasanjo made a statement at some point. He said, "Look, youth, these people are not going to give you the power. You will take it." So, meaning that they took it from the elders, they took it from the older people in their time. But we, so sorry when they then call us lazy people or something. I don't know right now because because looking at it, we are not still. You know why? Because they had so polarized the old system to the extent that what we run is called mediocrity system.
Okay.
Where you have a social hierarchy. That means a group of people in a social hierarchy that they are the one running the show. And to them, anything outside that carcass will not be welcome. That is why you will see them even at their 70s and their 80s, they still want to be. In fact, some will even reduce their age, just that we don't say, so that we don't come to say, no, we can't have a 80-something or 90-something, whatever. So these people over time, they've looked at us, and what they do to us, they give us carrots. Stick and carrot, they dangle the carrot, and they just throw that at us. And what do? Then we take back seat. All we do is to make noise. All we do is to sit back. All we do is to go on social media. And in fact, they had even done it to the extent that what we do now, our own is about money. Our generations, the youths and all that. Because even the so-called youth we have today that are in that same politics are there for a reason, for a motive. They allure them into their own way of life. Now, what they do, if you have a younger, Yaya Bello, not what's his age? He's one of us. We have people around like that. By the time you check, you wonder. So, if we're asking for this, now the ones we even have,
What are they doing?
what are they doing? So, are they different from our fathers? Are they different from these people? Those people, they were not just in charge of government. They were effective. You could see what they were doing at their prime age. Gowon was how old? Maybe 30, early 30s. We had a lot of them. How old was Zeke? How old was Awolowo in those days? So all these people were young. But what has become of us? Because by the time these people keep going on and on, by the time I am coming to say, okay, maybe the day they will give me a chance to even come in, maybe I'm already 50 or I'm already going 55. So,
but at least you'll still be relatively young.
Hopefully, but so
You'll still be relatively young.
Really,
Nigerians want a youth Nigerian youth want a younger person as a president, and I keep asking the question: why do we all clamor for the position of presidency? What happened to other positions? Did they disappear suddenly, fizzle into the thin air, do not matter? Is it that we are so concerned, or we feel that it is only the president's position that will do everything? What happens to going to the Senate? What happens to going to the House of Representatives? What happens to going to the House of Assembly? What happens to going for, positioning yourself, in political parties, so that when they are appointing commissioners and ministers, you will get, young people there, because even the crop of people we appoint are still in the same age group.
Sorry, I always like to correct impression on the age group or youth and all that. I'm sorry, I stand corrected, but I belong to the school of thought that says I'm not really particular about that age. I'm saying this based on what I have seen.
So it really, for you, it doesn't matter if the president is an elder statesman.
I want a younger person, but the question you ask me is, must it be a younger person?
I get you.
And I will say no. And my reason is because the younger people we have today, what is their ideology? Okay, you just spoke about, we remember what happened recently in 2019, yes. When we were talking about the youth, and they came, like you said, everybody wanted to be president. Now, you now even say, okay, fine, all of you come together and present one, so that maybe everybody will go for that one. What happened? They could not come to an agreement. Everybody wanted to be president.
Everybody wanted the apex position.
No, and I am saying, you that want to be a president, your political party, has it presented a councillor in one world? No. So what is the structure? What have you done grassroots wise? You don't just wake up and say, I want to be president. And that is why you see all these people, the same person that have been there, minister of something, whatever, from one senate to whatever. Okay, you saw Oga Barry. At some point, it was actually head of state, military dictator at some point. And don't forget, aside from that, he was minister at some point. Aside from that, he was governor at some point. Like that, you can see. Now, so he's been in the system. The same way with some of those people, like to look at number of governors, look at number of whatever that they are picking for election. next year. Some of them have been in, so these people have structures. So the question is, what have we done? Have we joined political parties? Number of us know. As we speak, a lot of us don't even have voters card. And we are talking about
Actually,
youth.
you think we don't
And thank you. And when they even get it, to them, some of them get it for different obvious reasons, not even for election, not because they want to
ID
do
card.
National ID card. So there are different reasons. You see our people doing their things. Some, in fact, the average ones are out of the country. The ones that are supposed to be the average, they are living every day. Nobody cares about what happens to then. The next thing, we go on social media, we make noise. We don't have leaders. Oh, our leaders are this, our leaders are that. What have we done to take over from these people? The other time they said they were forming one, whatever. I was on the platform, I was watching proceedings, and I asked, you people want to, this is the way you go about it. So there are a lot of things with us, a lot is wrong with us. Now, if we have not put our house in order, how do we take over from these people?
How do we take over? If it's a good question for young people to respond to this morning. If we have not put our house in order, how do we take over from the people? It's a rhetorical question. It's something I'd like you all to think about and dwell on very well as we go to our next topic, because one day you're going to have to answer me back and tell me exactly how Nigerian youths are ready to take over the affairs of the country. All right, this one is interesting also. It comes with IPOB bans Nigerian anthem in Southeast schools and the use of cows at ceremonies. Is that legal?
You see, these are the issues we're still talking about. It still comes back to, it's tied to the first part. Who is iPod?
IPOB is a group.
A group of who?
People that were proscribed. Nigerians. And then the government has proscribed the group.
The group. And they were called names. Now, I'm going somewhere. 80% of these groups are who?